I think that in terms of being vulnerable, there's different kinds of vulnerability that are appropriate to have in different settings and with different people. Uh, the more uh, the more you can trust somebody, the more you can be vulnerable with them, because you know they can be trusted with the information you're sharing with them. Um, but there are times when, in a public setting, uh, with a small group of people, you can be vulnerable too, just not as vulnerable as maybe somebody that you can highly trust with. And I'll give an example. So, I am a certified medical coder, and I had to pass a certification test before I could qualify to do the work that I'm doing. And it was a hard test in coming for me. I actually failed the test 7 times before I passed it the eighth time. And it took me 5 years after I completed school. It took me 5 more years to repeatedly fail my test before I finally passed it the eighth time. Um, and that's vulnerable information. Um, and so, if I'm getting to know somebody, for example, in a relationship with a woman, then uh, if I trusted her to that point, then I would be willing to share that with her. It would give her a sense of some hard things I've had to deal with, and she could high five me for the fact that I uh, obviously doubted my ability to pass that test, and I defied my own consensus in the end. Um, but uh, getting back to like a public setting with people, I would not share that detail with people that I failed my test 7 times before I finally passed it the eighth time. Uh, what I would share with people in a public setting is that I failed the test before I passed it. Um, or I could say I failed it once before I passed it. Uh, they don't need to know my whole story, and if I did share my vulnerable and embarrassing information in a public setting, people might think that I'm trying to win their respect, or they might have their own embarrassing story that they're keeping private, and they might resent me for getting some knuckle punches from people about my issue uh, when they're not getting any knuckle punches about their issue, and they don't think they should talk about it with anybody. And so uh, sometimes people don't pay you the tribute or the respect that you think your story deserves when you share a vulnerable piece of information in a public setting. Um, and that's what I wanted to share.